In at 10, Springlich. Springlich was a character in the Dormitibus beta. Not much was ever planned for him, and he was one of the 2 characters modeled by Golden Nexus, both of which didn't make the final cut. Springlich's body is actually turned the opposite direction to its head. This would have made it constantly walk backwards, which was actually going to be a part of its minigame. That way it was possible to make him stumble and fall, causing him to become stunned. They appear to be a springlock victim, as they have what appears to be either blood vessels or muscles inside their suit, and they have a decaying head in their mask and only one eye. They have long strips of withering on their mask, and their lower jaw is heavily worn down. Different sized holes covered the rest of their body, especially in their torso and their upper arms. In at 9's Dawnbreaker. Aside from being the reward for a Daedric side quest, Dawnbreaker was expected to be an antagonist in the now cancelled Dormitibus Remastered. Dawnbreaker appears to be a heavily damaged purple mangled animatronic, the design of which was based on Shadow Freddy from FNAF 2, and presumably on the purple animatronic Hoax character. By his design, he is very similar to the Havoc animatronics. His torso is ripped and torn up, large tears exposing the endoskeleton underneath, several limbs with hooks instead of feet are sticking out of his torso and out of his head, making Dawnbreaker appear similar to a spider. And I think we all know how I feel about that. Any animatronic that looks like a spider needs to be put down and sent back to the depths of hell from whence it came. And at 8, Molten Evil. Molten Evil is basically the shadow body of Dormitibus. It was a springlock victim, and it is heavily implied to be related to RWQFSFASXC. Molten Evil is a pure black animatronic rabbit that is melted. They look very similar to Toy Bonnie, and it's most likely meant to be Shadow Bonnie. Molten Evil looks close to what Toy Bonnie looks like, but with some key differences. He is entirely black, and appears to have a grimy looking texture to them. His eye sockets are filled with a white color and a white substance, which is most likely plasma. Get your mind out of the gutter, which is actually also seeping out from their eyes, and it's running down their face a la Crying Child, which hadn't actually been introduced yet, interestingly enough. All of his teeth are glowing a bright white, and so is his bow tie, and his bow tie, however, has melted slightly, making it lose its original shape. Don't all these animatronics just seem friendly to you? And at 7, the Havoc Puppet. He is responsible for the creation of every animatronic in the game, aside from one. Havoc Puppet is formed by a cracked and distorted version of the puppet's original mask, which is now missing its lower half. The head has a small hole placed right above where the mouth would be, and 2 white pinprick pupils on the inside of empty sockets, which presumably are pitch black. The lower missing half of the main mask features 7 black tentacle-like extensions, 3 at the back and 4 at the front, kinda like a weird mullet. The side 2 and the front are used as legs, while the other 2 at the front seem to be like arms, which is just all kinds of wrong. The back 3 tentacles also seem to be like tails. I don't know why those aren't the legs, but whatever. It also has a crack on the top of its head, and you know, it's wrong. Okay, it looks like a giant messed up spider, and like I said, we all know how I feel about spiders. I hate them. And at 6, Havoc Freddy. Havoc Freddy is a distorted manifestation accident, both from Havoc Puppet, who attempted to make a physical body for the spirits in Purgatory from plasma. When alive, the spirit's name was Ted. Get it? Ted became Fred? Never mind. Havoc Freddy bears a slight resemblance to his real counterpart, but for the most part looks very different. He mainly consists of a slightly dark brown color scheme, and he has a giant hole in the right side of his mask, revealing a large portion of his endoskeleton. His right eye hangs out of this hole by a few wires, consisting mainly of a black color with a red pupil. His left eye has a blue color to it, like his real counterpart. His eyebrows look rather large, with his right one just missing a small amount of itself, and his top hat appears to be just fine, though it may have some slight damage done to its base. A 2-segment long arm is connected to the left side of his head, with it wearing no suit on it, and the hand for the arm appears to be missing a finger segment, and it's also holding a microphone. Havoc Freddy doesn't have a suit for his lower jaw, and his entire jaw is just hanging low, wobbling to and fro by just a couple wires, and the rest of his body is just destroyed, which makes it extremely unsettling. Halfway through, and at number 5, the BOA. The BOA, otherwise known as the Box of Abominations, is a nickname that I gave my sister. Just kidding. It's an animatronic hybrid from the same game that makes us all beg for death. Haha, yeah. The main head for the BOA belongs to Toy Freddy. He has no ears connected to his head, and his top hat has a few holes in it, resulting in wires poking out. Toy Freddy has a small hole right above his right eye socket, and a slightly bigger hole on the right side of his head. He's missing his right eye, and his right eye socket has melted slightly. His remaining eye is pure white along with his iris, he has no eyelids, and neither do any of the other heads. Yeah, that's right, this one has multiple. Both his upper jaw and lower jaw have melted along with his cheeks. This has also caused his endoskeleton jaw to be revealed more, even when his jaw is closed. In at 4, Soul Cage. The Soul Cage is an animatronic from Dormitibus, and it resembles a lamp that has 4 heads of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica. Basically, it's an animatronic based on the bad ending from FNAF 3. The Soul Cage is made up of some props from Fazbear's Fright. The base of the Soul Cage is Bonnie's torso, with Bonnie's head being connected to it. Chica's head is connected to the left side of the main torso by a metal rod, and on the right side of the main torso is Freddy's torso, which is being connected to the main torso by 2 metal rods. Freddy's torso is tilted to the side, making him stick out, and Freddy's head is connected to his torso as well, luckily. Foxy's head is connected to the main torso by a rather long metal rod, which is actually coming out of the back, which is weird, and Foxy's head is positioned right above Bonnie's head. Each head that the Soul Cage has contains a single light source in their left eye socket. Each head also has large, sharp teeth in their jaw, because of course they do. They had to have something more, right? Like, it wasn't enough to just have 4 heads. You have to make them have razor sharp teeth too. They also have a grimy looking texture to them, which may be a reference to the fire at Fazbear's Fright, but can't be certain because I didn't design the character. Freddy, Bonnie, and Foxy also don't have their ears anymore, and there's 4 robotic legs because why the hell not? Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Havoc Chica. Do I need to explain? Havoc Chica, aka Maria, is a Havoc animatronic that hails from the Dormitibus universe. She is a Havoc version of Chica, obviously, and is a failed attempt by the Havoc puppet to give her spirit a physical form. While having the same color scheme as Chica, the two look nothing alike, alright? Not at all. The mask that Havoc Chica wears has a good amount of damage done to it. Her right eye socket has grown in size, arching upwards towards her feathers. The rest of her mask has small withering in a few places, mainly near her right eye socket and her forehead. She has no eyes at all, resulting in her being blind. Her jaw isn't directly connected to her head like Chica from FNAF 1, and instead her jaw looks more like her withered counterpart. Her jaw has withering on the sides of it and some towards the front. Her entire head is attached to a suitless limb segment, making her stick out in a way from her body. It's just grotesque and nauseating to look at. She looks like a chicken, like when they're like trying to get seeds. She looks like that. Just look at what they did to my baby. Look at how they massacred my girl, Chica! But ultimately, in at number 2, Golden Call. Golden Call is more or less like Springtrap design-wise. He's a spring-locked suit with a corpse inside of him, and he has become green due to his color rotting away. Half of Golden Call's left ear is bent, causing it to stick out in an angle. His other ear looks fairly intact, other than some slight withering on its sides. His black top hat also has some slight withering on it, mainly towards the base and sides, and he has one small hole above his right eye socket from some withering. Of course, it's withering, alright? It's withered. It's very withered, but it's not a withered animatronic. The hole also appears to be connected to his right eye socket, making it slightly bigger than normal. On the left side of his head, there's a larger hole, and he has a bit more withering on the sides of his head too, and another batch of some red substance is sticking to this section of his head, which is most likely blood or flesh or something similar. Golden Call also has a set of endoskeleton eyes in his head that have red pupils, and the eyes of his corpse are hanging out of their eye sockets and appear to be blue, which is wonderful because that means I can relate. He has slight withering on his snout, his lower jaw has been slightly degraded on the edges, and then inside there's 2 large things, okay? What organs this could be are unknown, but his entire torso is also heavily worn down, and his pelvis has a single hole in the front that it reveals like some more blood vessels, because of course it does. It's just disgusting. Finally, in at number 1, Garvey. Garvey is the Dormitibus version of Springtrap. Garvey is the penultimate antagonist in Dormitibus. As a human, he was the man who killed the missing children. He later went on to get trapped in Spring Bonnie, becoming Springtrap, and then was burned to a permanent death in the Fazbear's Fright fire. He looks absolutely horrific. The suit on his limbs and body are heavily tattered and shredded, and his organic remains are far more visible than they were with Springtrap or Scraptrap. His lower jaw is deformed and broken, which it actually disappears on at least one occasion, showing Garvey's corpse mouth and jaw. Garvey now has an unnatural animalistic-like stance, walking on all 4 of his limbs. His limbs also appear to be snapped in multiple places, alluding to these limbs being bent in unnatural ways, and the fact that his left hand serves as a foot and his left foot serves as a hand I don't want this anywhere near my life, okay? He is also much bigger than Springtrap or any other threat in the game, okay? He's absolutely terrifying and scarier than any of the animatronics in this game or any other fan game, hands down. And he was made before the Afton name reveal, so it's not even Afton. And at 10, Nightmare. Nightmare is the main antagonist of FNAF 4, who returns in Ultimate Custom Night. Nightmare is a bipedal black nightmare bear animatronic with his face that has scratches and distorts all over it. His muzzle and jaw has white sharp teeth with blood stains in the corners, near his black gums and on the rest of the inside of his mouth. Okay, his eyes are, there's black eyelids and red irises. He's a giant, pure black bear that is just as dark as night and is where all dreams go to die. I don't know how else to say it. He also has a shiny hat. His body it's like kind of lighter than that. He has like a lighter bit on his stomach, but other than that, he's wearing a shiny yellow bow tie and hat, and then he has teeth everywhere. And in Ultimate Custom Night, Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare are a tag team duo that are invisible to the cameras and can only be seen when you reach doorways. God. Okay, and even like then, only their eyes are visible. Yeah, his name is Nightmare. What else do I need to say? He's gonna give you nightmares. He's Nightmare. And at 9, Ennard. Ennard is the true main antagonist of FNAF's sister location, composed of the endoskeletons of the sister location animatronics, and he makes a return in Ultimate Custom Night as well, because of course he does. Ennard is one of the many Funtime animatronics, I guess, in a way, but he is also all of the Funtime animatronics. But what makes him terrifying is that he is the most human-like animatronic out of all of them, or at least proportions-wise, and that's just composed of like a wired endo body, and he also has a white mask with a red nose, eyebrows, and a freaking party hat. Dude, why? Why would you give yourself a party hat? There's no point to that. His body is just like wires of all the endoskeletons that he's made of, and he has a red button in the center because, that's the self-destruct. No, it's not. I wish it was. But he also is covered in eyes because he's every Funtime animatronic. Ennard climbs around in the vent systems in Ultimate Custom Night, but unlike the other animatronics in the vents, he's actually difficult to keep track of, and he only appears briefly and when he's moving. He can't be seen in the vents opening, but he will give himself away by squeaking before he attacks. Yeah, you gotta listen for squeaking because you can't use visuals. That's not fun. I don't want to play these games with audio. It's not a good thing. If you want to stop him, you gotta close the vent door, but again, you won't know when he's there. Aside from being one of the creepiest animatronics design-wise though, this dude is just a whole load of worrying crawling through the vents, so yeah, he's getting on the list, absolutely, 100%. And at 8, Circus Baby. Hello and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down the top 10 worst anime betrayals, but it's FNAF. In sister location, we thought we finally had the first nice animatronic, okay? It was like basically it was a prototype of Glamrock Freddy, or at least we thought so. At first, Baby gives us tips on how to survive. She helps us get through Balora's gallery. She seems like she actually wants us to stay alive. And then what do we get for trusting her? Scooped and stuffed, just like a Thanksgiving turkey. This is probably one of the most brutal things to happen to a character in the entirety of the series, and that's built on the fact that we trusted Baby, okay? If we didn't trust her, then it happened, then we would just be stupid, but we trusted her this time. She makes us feel safe. She gave us confidence that we would survive. She prevented us from getting killed, only to use our body as a skin suit and then get kicked out of Ennard not even a game later. This is why I don't trust Glamrock Freddy. Baby is legit one of the reasons I have trust issues now, and that's saying something, or maybe that's the personality disorder that I have not yet figured out. And at 7, Jacko Chica. Jacko Chica is an antagonist that's exclusive to the Halloween update for Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Well, I guess not an update, but it's a DLC of sorts. Things. She replaces Nightmare Chica in this version, and she also returns in Ultimate Custom Night and Help Wanted. Jacko Chica is a Halloween themed version of Nightmare Chica, which I feel like you could kind of get given that it's the Halloween update. She's distorted, nightmarish, an even worse version of Nightmare Chica with several sharp teeth, wires sticking out from torn parts of her body, and then, unlike her original counterpart, she lacks eyes. And actually like the head of an endoskeleton, instead having just a bright orange light emitting from her eye sockets and torsos and just every single just opening. It has orange light coming out from it. Do you know how terrifying that is? It is the depths of hell walking towards you carrying a freaking pumpkin cupcake. She also carries a jack-o'-lantern instead of a cupcake, but I just said that. When the office in Ultimate Custom Night heats up to 90 degrees, Jacko Chica is going to appear in both halls at the same time. And then once she's fully materialized, she's going to kill you. The only way that you can stop her is by closing the left and right doors at the same time to make her vanish, or I guess having them both closed at the same time. You can't really close both at once, but this won't work if the office reaches 100 degrees or more, so yeah, you gotta, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's why I don't play FNAF anymore. In its sixth Lolbit. Lolbit is essentially just a recolored Funtime Foxy, repainted to match like the FNAF World version of Lolbit, with the only exception being the absence of the hook hand from FNAF World, but I feel like that's a good thing. It has no visible eyelids or eyeballs, and instead it just has glossy black eyes with just big white pupils, and it's covered in white with like orange highlights surrounding its eyes like some weird form of clown makeup. And the worst part about the character is the noise that is associated with the damn thing. The worst part of a jump scare is the audio, okay? It's something that's meant to overload multiple senses in order to give you a shock. The visual of a jump scare without some sort of sudden loud audio isn't really going to do anything, but a loud sound on its own can still scare you. So combine that with her freaking clown fox appearance, like what the hell kind of combination is that? I don't know, okay? And the sound seems to be like a failed connection or something like that. Like it's something that you would hear from a computer crashing in a movie about the 80s, right? Or like a failed dial tone. You know what I mean, okay? Dude, with all of that combined, you have one of the most frustrating sensory nightmares that I have ever experienced. So yeah, Lolbit can show up on this list. And speaking of this list, if you like it, why not give it a like? So I know. How else am I supposed to know? Come on. Halfway through into number 5, Night Toy Bonnie. The Night Toy animatronics are a collection of models from a now deleted Reddit account and are absolutely terrifying. I get that they aren't canon, but Jesus Christ, they're freaking horrific, okay? Night Toy Bonnie being the worst of the bunch. Sure, the others are messed up, but for some freaking reason, Bonnie just sets everyone on edge. I looked through the Reddit comments. It was scary. The original version stands on all fours with its legs like wider than its like hands, as if it's like some deranged gargoyle that just got home from a shopping spree in the Spencer backrooms. But I don't know, okay? I genuinely don't know how else to describe it, because the only thing that's toy about this is the color scheme. Other than that, it's furry, it's terrifying, and it seems like this is what the security database in the original toy animatronics was meant to prevent, if you catch my drift, okay? Like, this thing is gonna show up to the pizzeria and Chris Hansen's gonna pop out and ask it to sit down. It's so utterly terrifying that I had to include it on this list, despite it not really being a canon character. But if I have to suffer the fate of knowing about this thing, so do the rest of you, and you've all been searching it up a lot, so I was hoping it would help with SEO. In at 4, Ballora. I think Ballora is scary for one major reason, because I don't know Afton's intentions. Yeah, we've gotten to that part of the list, because after all, Afton's a man. He's a deranged one, but even the most deranged men have messed up needs. So maybe Ballora was supposed to be a little more than like a mother figure for his kids, okay? Or at least maybe it was like intended to be more. After all, we know that she does represent someone that William didn't let into his life, whether that be after his wife's exit from his life or after Elizabeth's death, but even then, we can start to get a general idea. But thanks to the fast facts found in FNAF AR, we know that the Funtime animatronics were among some of the first ever animatronics made by Afton. And if this was the case, Ballora would have been around before Elizabeth got caught by Baby, especially if she was made for circus babies. So yeah, after Afton's wife or baby mama or whatever it was leaves him or dies, he finds a woman who wants to help him, but he doesn't let her into his life. So instead, he makes a robot version that won't judge him, and he can probably do other things as well. Because let's face it, William wasn't in the most optimistic of mindsets. And if you think about it, there could be a reason that Ballora is so flexible and why she can't stand on her own. Obviously, so she can help work around the house. What were you thinking? God. And with my executive dysfunction, housework is the most terrifying thing of all. Hence why she's at number 4. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Burn Trap. Burn Trap is near the top of this list because while some people may consider this a waste, this to me was certainly a surprise. Okay, sure, we figured that Afton could come back in Security Breach, but we never thought that he would come back like this. We figured that there would be like more ceremony to his resurrection, that there was like actually a ritual that had to be performed, and that Gregory was the key or something. But Burn Trap was not what we expected, or at least I didn't expect a new form of Afton to appear in this game. Okay, I figured that we'd have Scrap Trap or like Glitch Trap form into one, and then he would finally have like a normal body bag if he took off the suit or something like that. But no, he's a corpse akin to what you would see in a Saw movie. During the fight against him, Burn Trap walks between 3 different rooms on the other side of like the underground pizzeria. Gregory has to watch for him and watch the rooms that he goes into and press each room's corresponding button when he attempts to take control of Freddy, and then you'll light a fire under his ass, literally, and damage him, stopping the corruption attempt. Failure to do so will have Glamrock Freddy taken over by Afton, which will have him basically instantly kill you. But I have had nightmares about this guy, but specifically because of all the wrenches that he threw into what we thought we knew about the series, but still, he's been in my nightmares, so yeah, he's on the list. Penultimately, in at number 2, Moon. The daycare attendant, otherwise known in-game as Sun or Moon, is a superstar daycare animatronic that appears in Security Breach as a recurring antagonist in its Moon form. As Moon, the daycare attendant is malevolent and aggressive. They constantly chase Gregory once the lights are turned off, and then every hour, not even every other hour, every hour on the hour he is on your ass, and then he attempts to punish him for going past his bedtime. Despite all this though, he still hates messes, and he has to clean them up whenever he sees it. It's like some weird form of like programming OCD. If he sees a mess, then he has to clean it up, but he does so in a creepier way. I can't express it, but honestly, this kind of attitude, like the demeanor that this animatronic gives, in general, just gives me a come see what's in my van, I got more fizzy fazz in here vibe, you know? Him and Night Toy Bonnie, they go to the same meetings, okay? I don't know, it makes me feel like a deep-seated anger in the pit of my stomach and just makes me want to beat his brains in until his wires are spilled on the floor, which is fine for me to say in this case because it's an animatronic, and a fictional animatronic at that, so stop trying to use this as evidence against me. And finally, in at number 1, Plush Trap. Yeah, Plush Trap, okay? The literal embodiment of how people think of children, especially when they don't want to have any. This is probably the most nightmare-inducing animatronic of all time, and I'm saying this on a list that includes one literally called Nightmare, okay? Plush Trap is a smaller plush version of Spring Bonnie, but has a design that's more similar to Scrap Trap, or Spring Trap, sorry. Albeit much more cartoonish and less damaged, considering how he's tiny. He also seems to try to be less menacing in appearance, but only in appearance, because his whole game mechanics are what make him terrifying. The minigame is like a Scooby-Doo chase scene on crack where the player flashes their flashlight at him, trying to stop him as he runs back and forth between doors in a dark hallway. Your goal is to stop him from moving on a painted X on the ground, but that X is literally right in front of you. The whole point of this game is to let the craziness get close to you, and that's what makes it so horrifying. I've done that before. I'm not doing it again. The rest of this game is just about avoiding things, but this specific section, you have to let it come to you. In at 10, Jetpack Balloon Boy. Jetpack Balloon Boy is Balloon Boy's 3rd skin and the 3rd skin of the steampunk event within FNAF AR. The skin was released on July 8th of last year, I think, maybe, after being leaked by Lumx's community tab on YouTube over 12 hours early. I mean, it's still better than Funko leaking the design of the Security Breach animatronics though, am I right? Jetpack Balloon Boy's body shape looks identical to that of Balloon Boy, but now he wears a brown leather coat and has wool inside of it because, you know, it's steampunk. And he also has a large pilot's hat that's got multiple gears, bulbs, other devices, kind of like, you know, this normal steampunk thing. He wears a pair of goggles, because of course he does, and the right lens is like kind of glowing green, and the left lens is broken, and it actually reveals a robotic yellow eye, as if this wasn't concerning enough. His shoes and arms are also made of bronze and metal, and they're covered with gears because they're really pushing the steampunk thing. I don't think they use that many gears. But now, his sign also reads "Let's Fly" with big letters, being made out of scrap metal and also bolted to the sign because, again, they gotta drive that point home. His balloon is decorated to look like a hot air balloon with gears, jewels, and curtains covering it. And finally, as his name suggests, he has a large jetpack on his back, which he will use to fly over your house and dive bomb it, because that's what steampunk steampunk does, right? Blow things up. I'm pretty sure. It sounds like it would be fun. Although the whole let's fly thing is giving me Pennywise vibes, and I don't dig it. I don't like it. In at 9, the puppet. The puppet is an animatronic puppet, alright? I mean, it's in the name. And they're also a major antagonist, but also technically a good guy within the FNAF series. First appearing as the main antagonist of FNAF 2, but later on showing their heroic side. It possibly serves as the prize vendor of the newly refurbished Freddy Fazbear's from 1987, although it isn't also implied that it was originally from Fredbear's Family Diner as a security puppet, or at least that was the inspiration behind this version. After the pizzeria was only open for a few short weeks, it was then closed down, but the puppet, unlike the other toy animatronics who were scrapped due to possible malfunctions, was not scrapped, appearing later on in the new pizzeria from the first game as evident by the dream cutscenes of multiple games, alright? There's a lot going on. And then also appearing as Lefty in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Lefty was also an animatronic that was intended to capture the puppet, as Charlotte Emily's father, Henry, knew that her soul was actually possessing the puppet. However, it's also widely believed that Charlotte is William's first victim, meaning that overall, they would have like the most significance to the story. Plus, have you seen like the way that it walks in FNAF 2 in VR before it jump scares you? That's creepy as hell, okay? No thank you. No. It's like a weird worm thing. I don't like it. In at 6, Jacko Cheek. In at 8, Circus Baby. Top 10 worst anime betrayals, but it's FNAF. In Sister Location, we thought we finally had the first nice animatronic. Like basically, a prototype Glamrock Freddy. Or at least, we thought so at first. Baby was giving us tips on how to survive. She really seemed like she wanted us to live. But then, what do we get for trusting her? Just like my ex, scooped and stuffed, just like a Thanksgiving turkey. This was probably one of the most brutal things to happen to a character in the entire series, and it's all because we trusted Baby, alright? She made us feel safe, she gave us confidence, she prevented us from getting killed, only to use our body as a skin suit and then get kicked out of Enter not even a game later. This is why I don't trust Glamrock Freddy. Okay, Baby is legit one of the reasons that I have trust issues, and that's saying something. Like, holy damn, okay? I could have sworn throughout the whole of Security Breach that we were gonna get betrayed, and then Glamrock Freddy was gonna do the same thing. Like, lead us down to Afton and then pull a psych. I've been working for this but he didn't. However, thanks to Baby, I'm still pretty sure that this man is doing a long con. And if you're liking this video and you want to see more, be sure you're smashing that like button. Smash it like I'd smash Glamrock Chica. And make sure that you're subscribed, because YouTube randomly unsubs people sometimes. I don't know, okay? The internet is weird. Moving on. In at 7, Glamrock Freddy. Yeah, I'm calling him out even more. Glamrock Freddy is one of the newer Glamrock animatronics created in Security Breach. He's the Glamrock version of Freddy Fazbear. I mean, I don't really know how else to say it. He's based off like the original Freddy, but with an early UK 1970s vibe, or 80s, I don't know which one had neon, I wasn't born. Similar to Toy Freddy though, he has a top hat, he's made of plastic, kind of like Kim Kardashian, and then he has a thin blue stripe above the brim of his hat. He has a microphone now that has a stand this time. Yeah, that's fancy. He's a bit boxier, he has a light blue stripe on his chest, and also at like the center of his jaw. I don't know, he has like a lightning bolt like he's a wannabe Flash. Glamrock Freddy within the game though is Gregory's protector, okay? Attempting to help him survive until 6 AM and escape, with the player being able to climb into his stomach, which is referred to as the birthday cake hole on the PlayStation blog, which is a whole other set of concerning questions. And then you can take control of him and hide and evade from other animatronics in certain sections, and you kind of have like a mech that doesn't really fight. However, I trust this man as far as I can throw him, because I firmly believe that we're gonna have another Circus Baby situation that will probably be revealed when the DLC comes out in 2023. Like seriously, there's no way that this many things could have worked out in our favor throughout this game accidentally. No way at all. There's something sus going on here, and I'm pretty sure that it's Freddy. Jacko Chica is an antagonist exclusive to the Halloween Update DLC for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, replacing Nightmare Chica. She returns also as an antagonist on Ultimate Custom Night, but I mean, exclusive, I mean, in FNAF 4 they're exclusive, and then ignoring Ultimate Custom Night. Jacko Chica is a Halloween themed version of Nightmare Chica. I mean, I feel like it's pretty evident. She's distorted, nightmarish version of Chica with several sharp teeth, wires coming out of the torn parts of her body. However, unlike unlike her original counterpart, she doesn't have any eyes, and or like an endoskeleton head at all, really. Instead, they have a bright orange light that's coming from within their soul. I don't know. Their eye sockets and torso are like glowing bright orange to kind of fit with the Halloween theme. She also carries a jack-o'-lantern instead of a cupcake because, you know, Jacko, that's kind of how it works. And then also in Ultimate Custom Night, when the office heats up to 90 degrees, Jacko Chica will appear in both halls at the same time. And then once she is fully materialized, she will then jump scare you, ending the game. The only way to stop her is by closing the left and right doors at the same time to make her go away. But this won't work if the office reaches 100 degrees or more, alright? So yeah, we gotta deal with heat. You gotta deal with the heat. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the office kitchen thing. I don't know. I haven't played Ultimate Custom Night. How about doing it number 5? Ennard. Ennard is the true main antagonist of FNAF Sister Location. He's composed of the endoskeletons of all the Sister Location animatronics, and then he also makes a return in Ultimate Custom Night because he's just a dick like that. Ennard is one of the many Funtime animatronics, and is like a human-like animatronic with a weird endoskeleton-looking body. He has a white mask with a red nose, red eyebrows, a green and yellow-colored party hat for some reason, because, you know, that makes it less creepy despite you being a giant robot made of wires, and it also has like a red button and then multiple eyes covering the body, but you know, the top hat, it makes it okay. And it also climbs within the vent system in Ultimate Custom Night, but unlike the other animatronics in the vents, he is difficult to track, appearing only briefly here and there when moving. He can't be seen in the vent opening, but he gives himself away by making like a squeaking sound before he attacks, because, you know, that makes it easier. Just close the vent door and he'll go away, okay? But like, aside from being probably one of the creepiest animatronics design-wise, this dude is just a whole load of worry, alright? He's crawling through the vents. Man is getting on a list 100%, alright? He's... The FBI is watching him, I hope. God. Nightmare On is an antagonist exclusive, again, to the Halloween Update DLC for FNAF 4, although they do return in Ultimate Custom Night and FNAF VR. But you know what? We don't talk about that. They're exclusive to FNAF 4's Halloween DLC. Nightmare On is a human-like animatronic. I mean, it's the puppet, but a nightmare version of the puppet. And they have a white mask with black tears this time, black lipstick for some reason, white dots for eyes, and a row of sharp teeth that is sharper than me. Alright, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, although in this suit, I do look pretty snazzy. Ha, puns. Their body is black and it's supposed to look kind of like a skeleton with like a large chest and ribs protruding, kind of like me when I'm not wearing a shirt. They have a slender body, like really weird thin legs, and you know what, they kind of just look like a tentacle monster that you would see in certain kinds of exotic cartoons. During the night though, in Ultimate Custom Night at least, Nightmare On will appear if the mouse cursor lingers over them, and then the player has to like avoid the area that they are in, and if you don't do it in time, you're gonna get jump scared and die. Because, you know, that's how Ultimate Custom Night works. So yeah, just don't actually add them to the game. Just don't play Ultimate Custom Night. The only way to win is not to play. Getting close to the end of number 3, Piranha Plush Trap. Piranha Plush Trap is Plush Trap's second skin in FNAF AR and the third skin to be added throughout the Wicked Tides event. He released on June 7th after being delayed for 3 days for unknown reasons, but we actually ended up making a community post about this when he was coming out. And personally, this is like one of the scariest FNAF AR skins ever added. Piranha Plush Trap is hardly like the original Plush Trap. Now they're made of like a more organic flesh-like material, even having like realistic gums. His mouth is littered with long, thin, sharp teeth akin to that of a, I don't know, piranha, and his eyes are extremely small and glow an ocean blue, because, you know, that's how all like beautiful people are described in books, right? Oh, their eyes are the color of the ocean, because, you know, that's Plush Trap is beautiful. On the sides of his head, he has glowing orange gills. His feet also glow that same orange, and his hands have orange webbing in between them that kind of stretches as he moves, because, you know, they're piranhas. That's kind of how it works. Although the webbing is in between the fingers doesn't glow, luckily. His ears are covered in barnacles. His mouth, stomach, and right leg are all covered in like string-like algae. His body is fully covered in spikes. And his torso is also split open, revealing his ribs. And this thing is actually horrifying, and I do hope that we see them in another game instead of just in special delivery, because this is terrifying. This would actually genuinely scare me. This is like the baby zombie of FNAF. But ultimately in at number 2, Nightmare. That's right, they're only at 2. Nightmare is the main antagonist of FNAF 4, alright? They return an Ultimate Custom Night. I don't think that Nightmare specifically is in FNAF VR though. Their face features, like, they have scratches and they're all distorted. It's basically just an inverted Nightmare Fredbear, alright? His jaw has all the white sharp teeth that you would normally expect with a Nightmare. Got blood stains, his like black gums, his black eyelids, white thin pupils, red irises, and just, I don't know, it's terrifying. I don't know why they thought that this would be okay. This is called Nightmare for a reason. His body contains like a bit like a lighter bit of gray on his stomach, I guess, and he has a shiny yellow bow tie because that makes everything better. Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare are basically just a tag team, also an Ultimate Custom Night. They're invisible to the cameras and can only be seen when they reach the doorways. Then once their eyes are visible, you gotta close the doors to make them leave you alone. And finally, in at number 1, the Daycare Attendant. This mother hubber. The Daycare Attendant, otherwise known in-game as Sun or Moon, is a superstar daycare attendant animatronic, obviously, that appears in Security Breach and is a recurring antagonist in its Moon form. As Sun, the Daycare Attendant they're upbeat, they're energetic, they're kind of similar to Funtime Freddy in that sense. They enjoy doing activities with children, such as putting on puppet shows and drinking Fizzy Faz, you weirdo. And when Gregory knocks down, like, the things to distract him, he kind of has to pick them up and he's panicking about it. I don't know why. He's also very serious about keeping the lights on because if they're off, he transforms into Moon. And then as Moon, they're really malevolent and aggressive, and they're really angry for some reason. They constantly chase Gregory once the lights turn off, and then they attempt to punish him for, quote, going past his bedtime and being a naughty, naughty boy. Yeah, even though Moon still has a distaste for messes, they gotta clean it up as well, which is actually at least a little bit good, because you can torture him while he's torturing you. But honestly, this kind of attitude that this animatronic has in general kind of gives me a whole, like, come see what's in my van, I got more Fizzy Faz in there vibe, you know? And straight up, I don't like that. It makes me feel like a deep-seated anger in the pit of my stomach, and it makes me want to throw this man to the floor and beat him until his brain wires spill out, which is fine for me to say in this case because it's an animatronic that I'm referring to, although I'm sure the prosecution has ended the video before I can say that. But hopefully my lawyer has unpaused the video right now so the jury can have an oh okay moment like in all of the movies when they start to truly understand my innocence.
Number 10, Rockstar Chica. Something about those maracas, I suppose. For some reason, Rockstar Chica is a fan favorite when it comes to attractive animatronics. And there are a lot of people who have created fan art of her, imagining her as a cute blonde anime rocker girl, which is an interpretation of her look. Still, I think this version of Chica is one of the most odd in terms of people finding her hot, but there are people out there that do, so hey, no judgment. I've seen the fan art, I have the proof. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving what we are doing here at Top 10 Gaming, please go check out our newest channel, Most Amazing Top 10 Anime. Click that subscribe button. Do it! Number 9, Mangle. I didn't believe that Mangle could be sexy, to be honest. I had heard the rumblings, and I wanted to be able to deny that they were true. But then I looked up Mangle FNAF Sexy. Do that at your own peril, because you will definitely find some very weird, very sexy things. I don't know how I feel about them. Personally, I think I feel uncomfortable. But there are people that really love Mangle out there, perhaps a little bit too much. When it comes to Mangle, I feel like the makeup is a big selling point for fans. That and the idea perhaps that Mangle is an interactive animatronic. I'm going to let you interpret that as you will, but I'm mainly talking about the fact that Mangle was disassembled and reassembled seemingly for fun. Pink is also just a color that I feel a lot of people like. It can be very feminine and very flirty, and this definitely sticks with people when it comes to how they perhaps see Mangle and the animatronic's potential sexiness, playfulness, and possibly feminine side. Number 8, Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy is just one of the cutest versions of Foxies that I think we have. I personally agree with this one being on the list, obviously. For me, I really love the coloring of this animatronic, and actually also the coloring of all the Funtime animatronics. Funtime Foxy is also an interesting animatronic in the sense that there is much debate surrounding the gender of Funtime Foxy. Some believe due to the makeup and coloring that Funtime Foxy is female, while others feel that Funtime Foxy due to their bow tie and masculine voice must be male. In Ultimate Custom Night, the animatronic was given male pronouns. For me, I think perhaps Funtime Foxy is kind of like neither and falls somewhere in between those two gender labels. Perhaps Funtime Foxy is a little bit more gender fluid than most animatronics. I've seen people reimagine Foxy as more feminine though, and it's a thing to behold, with fan art imagining a much more curvy version of this animatronic. Number 7, Lefty. I don't know what exactly it is about Lefty, but I just find him kind of handsome. Is that weird? I guess it's kind of weird. Lefty isn't maybe an animatronic that people immediately think about when they think hot, but I do. I think he stands out for me when it comes to good looking animatronics for some reason. I will say I've also seen people transform Lefty and reimagine him as a female, and even that has been pretty spiffy, I gotta say. Something I would love to see is Lefty get an eye patch like Foxy. I feel like he could really rock it. I feel like he'd look quite sporting and quite spiffy with an eye patch. There's also some weird imagery when it comes to Lefty's potential sexiness, with him being highlighted as a deadly sexy character, kind of like a more sinister version of Freddy, like a sexy villain if you will. Although technically in a way all the animatronics I guess are kind of villains for the most part, or at least antagonists, as many of them do try to, you know, kill you in game. Finding any of them, you know, hot is kind of weird, I guess. Number 6, Funtime Chica. I feel like the Funtime animatronics just in general really have just something going on with them. Maybe it's because they have the word Funtime in their names. Is there anything hotter than someone who advertises their love for having a fun time? Personally, I am here for people who just want to have fun. When it comes to Chica, there is also her coloring here to consider, and of course, the fact that it's Chica, but just in a Funtime form. We always love Chica, don't we? We are big stands for Chica. Even with Rockstar Chica getting some love on this list, which I think truly speaks for how people are in love with this character. Because to me, Rockstar Chica, I don't know, not as hot. Funtime Chica, more hot though. Number 5, Toy Chica. Obviously, Chica is just one of the hottest animatronics out there. I don't think any of us are going to debate this. If you do want to debate this, meet me in the comments, let's have a debate. But among the different types of Chica animatronics, Toy Chica is considered to be one of the hottest ones out there. It could have to do with her very scantily clad appearance, with her like she's wearing just like her little, it's like a bib basically, and like little, like basically underwear. Or perhaps it's thanks to her ability to, you know, remove her beak. I personally think Chica being able to remove her beak is really creepy, but I could see how other people might feel differently about it, because, you know, some people don't find a beak, I guess, hot. I don't know. Toy Chica is also generally depicted as being curvier than most models of the animatronic, and has a focus on her eyes when it comes to fan art versions of the character. This is where it gets a little weird. The really weird thing is that this can extend to not just her big blue eye version with her beak and her eyelashes attached, but her other non-beak, like pinprick white light eye version, where she appears to actually kind of be missing her eyes and only have two little bright white lights peering out of her eye sockets. So I guess some people also find the creepy vibes hot when it comes to Toy Chica, which, okay, I see you. I see you. You are seen. Number 4, Roxanne Wolf. Roxanne Wolf is one of the newest animatronics, which is why I'm also a little bit surprised that she would be included on this list. But yet, we cannot deny how much love there is out there for Roxy, and I love that. I love that we have gotten new animatronics in Security Breach via Montgomery Gator and Roxanne Wolf, and the people have just completely embraced them and kind of fallen in love with them. I think that's really cool. Roxy comes across initially in the game as being all about herself, but later on we learn that there might be more to her after she becomes shattered, and she expresses great distress concerning that if she isn't beautiful any longer, people won't love her anymore. Oh, there's an amazing sense of like connection I think people feel with Roxy that doesn't quite exist with any other animatronics we've seen this far for that reason. I think it's a combo of her punk rock vibes and her complex personality that makes her attractive to fans. Also, you know, she got that hair. Her hair is very glamorous. It's very glam rockerous. Number 3, Ballora. I don't know what it is with people in Ballora, but there are a lot of folks out there who are seemingly like obsessed with her. It must be that, you know, severe like waist to hip ratio that she got going on. She got like very hourglass proportions, I feel. And perhaps her sense of grace, which lends to her, dare I say, beauty. Ballora is also quite feminine, which probably adds to people adoring her both in appearance and in terms of her behavior. Although she can still jump scare you in Sister Location, she's also a lot more timid or reserved, at least outwardly. She can sing and dance, so her talents are another reason people likely find her attractive, and her purple eyes, although we never really quite get to see them. Well, that is unless you're getting jump scared, but I'm not sure if people are here for that. I guess if you find scary things sexy, then you might be into that. Myself personally, nah, not so much. Number 2, Glamrock Freddy. Glamrock Freddy is weirdly attractive. He is super tall, seemingly buff, who also stands as a father figure to Gregory. He's kind, he's compassionate, sweet, and genuine. Plus, he's also a rock star, being one of the Glamrock animatronics and their lead singer. What is there not to like there? For some reason, people also love to draw him looking like super jacked. He's not only drawn to look buff though, he's also often drawn to look super handsome, usually sporting a chiseled jaw in fan art and a sweet, sometimes shy or playful expression. It makes sense that we'd think Glamrock Freddy is attractive though. He is designed to act as our pal, our friend, and our protector in Security Breach. And for that reason, it makes sense that people would see him in a more attractive light, because he's kind of playing an attractive role there. There is also a lot of fan art with him winking and like offering congratulations, saying, "Way to go, superstar," a line of encouragement from the game that he's become pretty famous for, and even in some cases, memeable for. Number 1, Glamrock Chica. Glamrock Chica is definitely one of my favorite animatronics when it comes to the hottest one. That feels really weird to say. Glamrock Chica just seems like she usually has a fun-loving attitude. I mean, even when she's chasing after you and is horrifying, she still kind of seems like fun to me. Like, I don't know, I might not mind being caught by Glamrock Chica. Well, you know, except for the whole like jump scare part, and she probably is gonna like, you know, kill you part. This version of Chica seems to also love pizza, and I feel like she and I could both bond over that. I also really love pizza. The Glamrock animatronics also all come with some of the best designs in regards to their looks. So, hey, that's also a bonus. So, if y'all couldn't guess the one animatronic that inspired this list, it was Glamrock Freddy. With this fan art by Amon S, in particular being the one that triggered us to make it. So, I guess thank you for that, Ominous. Oh my gosh. Abs. Number 10, Mr. Hippo. Speaking of the mediocre melodies, I don't know, friends. We're getting down to the nitty gritty really with this list in terms of animatronics that I have left to talk about, that one could consider as hot. So here we go with Mr. Hippo. I think for Mr. Hippo, I just really love his little hat and his purple coloring. Like I said, I really love the color purple. Also, why can't Hippo animatronics be hot? Why is that not a thing? In terms of animatronics that are falling apart or run down, the Mediocre Melodies group actually has a lot of animatronics who are in good shape by comparison to such groups as, let's say, the Nightmare animatronics. Mr. Hippo also has a flower on his chest, so that with his little black top hat makes him look dapper. And I don't know, I like an animatronic that looks dapper. I think that's hot, looking dapper. Number 6, Lolbit. Whether you are imagining Lolbit as male, female, or you know, their standard they themselves, it seems that you might find them attractive. At least that's what the internet seems to be claiming. If you don't believe me on this one, just look up some attractive fan art of Lolbit. It is out there. There's a lot of it. You might be surprised, or maybe not if you're already a big fan, that there is already just a lot of that kind of fan art out there. I find this especially surprising since while I know a lot of people do love Lolbit, which I respect, they're still considered to be a pretty minor character and in many cases are generally only shown as like a disembodied head, I think. But hey, maybe people just really love the coloring, or are here for Lolbit's, I don't know, their glowing personality? If you're a major Lolbit fan, maybe you can enlighten us on the attractiveness of this animatronic in the comments, and why you personally like them. Number 9, Happy Frog. I like when people are happy. Honestly, I think that can be a hot quality. Not that you can't, you know, be hot and also be sad, because that also happens a lot. And I also like the color of Happy Frog's purple eyes myself. I've always liked the color purple, and honestly, I actually wanted to have purple eyes myself when I was a kid, although I'm not sure if that's actually a thing you can be born with. I always dreamed like maybe maybe my eyes will change color and I'll have purple eyes. I know there are people who have been rumored to have purple eyes and claim that they have purple eyes, but I don't think that's actually a natural color that exists genetically. But let me know if I'm wrong about that. I also acknowledge that with Happy Frog's eyes technically being the color of magenta, some actually might see them as more pink than purple, but I guess that really depends on how you individually see color and, you know, also the color settings that are on your monitor. Happy Frog is one of the animatronics to appear in the Mediocre Melodies. She first appeared alongside her fellow bandmates in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Number 8. Toy Freddy. I thought it was only fair that Toy Freddy got some love on this list, considering that so many of the toy animatronics were highlighted on the part 1, and only one other version of Freddy made that other cut as well. I know Freddy isn't often thought of as like the hottest or even like the most favorite animatronic of the bunch, which I think is kinda sad considering he is the main mascot generally of Fazbear establishments. Toy Freddy has a cute and shiny look to him. One of my favorite things about the toy animatronics in general is the shine on them and their colored cheeks. Like they're wearing blush. Toy Freddy also sports a black bow tie and top hat with a red rim, making him look quite dapper, I gotta say. Number 7. And Captain Foxy. I mean, what is better than regular Foxy? Definitely a more decorated version of everyone's favorite pirate animatronic. That's right, we're talking about Captain Foxy from the Curse of the Dreadbear expansion for the FNAF virtual reality game Help Wanted. I also really love Foxy's coat here. I feel like actually a lot of my choices for this list are going to be based on fashion, but hey, part of what makes an animatronic or a person I think hot is their sense of style. And pirate style is already something I'm super here for. I love pirates. So the added bonus of this piratey hat and coat with epaulettes on it only heightens the appearance of Foxy here. Epaulettes, by the way, are the name for what some might see as kind of like fancy shoulder pads on coats. They're actually used to symbolize a person's rank in the military, so either Captain Foxy is higher in rank than normal Foxy, or he stole this coat from someone that was a higher rank and who was, you know, working on the seas. That's probably more likely because pirate, so yeah. Epaulettes, when made from metal, can also be referred to as shoulder scales, FYI. I love that term, shoulder scales. Makes you sound like you're a cool dragon. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Gaming and you love all of our FNAF content, why not subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything new we're putting out? I know some of you don't subscribe, so please subscribe. Do it. Number 5, Hand Unit. I don't really know what I'm doing with this list right now by including Hand Unit, but I guess what I find to be somewhat attractive about Hand Unit, if I had to pick, obviously 10 more animatronics that are considered hot, which is, you know, yeah, what we're doing here, is that Hand Unit is somewhat aloof and mysterious. Also, the original voice for Hand Unit that we hear in Sister Location, I like it. Sometimes Hand Unit makes me laugh in Sister Location, and other times they make me like really nervous. Mainly, I like the idea of having a romance with an all-powerful AI that can control life and death. I think that's kind of a cool, albeit, you know, creepy idea. But hey, this is FNAF, so many of the things are both cool and creepy. It's a horror game. And one of the ways us FNAF fans deal with the absolute horror show of the lore and these games is by making our own headcanon about how animatronics, and by extension disembodied AI voices, which evidently is more what I'm talking about here, could even become dear friends over time who only want to protect us. I mean, I feel like having Hand Unit on my side would be really good, I'm just saying. This is a huge part of the reason why we are so willing to accept the protective and friendly nature of Glamrock Freddy and Security Breach as players. So I think it makes sense that in my mind I'm imagining a Hand Unit that's like really sweet and nice and, you know, just wants to bring me flowers. Is there anything wrong with that? Probably, but I don't care, I want flowers. Flowers are nice. Number 4, Sun and Moon, also known as the daycare attendant. Sun and Moon are both separate personas of the same character who works in the daycare at Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. For some reason, there were a lot of people in the comments requesting that Sun and Moon be highlighted as a hot animatronic. And apparently, this is because a lot of people really like him. And honestly, I've even seen these two sides of the same coin be shipped together as well from trying to look up fan art of them, which is like a weird concept to think about because Like, aren't they the same person? So how can you ship them together? There's lots of art with them having like a baby together, and I'm just like, but how will that, okay, sure, why not? Why not? If you like it, it's fine. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, I think it's cool. Number 3, Montgomery Gator. Montgomery Gator is a pretty muscular appearing animatronic, which I think is why some people find him to be hot. He also just has really cool sunglasses in my opinion. I used to have a pair of sunglasses very similar to his when I was a teenager, and I gotta say, I miss those sunglasses. They were super cool. I would perhaps try to become a little friendlier with Monty just for like a chance at borrowing his sunglasses. Mine were orange though, and appropriately reminded me of a very glam rock-esque band, I suppose, Kiss. Well, not straight up glam rock perhaps, but you know, definitely similar vibes. If you aren't familiar with Kiss, if that was before your time, you should definitely check them out. They are a mood for sure, and they're definitely people that I feel like would wear sunglasses like Monty does. If they haven't already, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like pictures of them with star sunglasses. Number 2, Ringmaster Foxy. Ringmaster Foxy is another one that is pretty feisty. I heard everyone's clamors in the comments of the part 1 in this video series. How could I forget Foxy, you asked me? Oh, to be honest, I never forget Foxy. I would say Foxy and Chica to this day remain my few favorite animatronics in the game. Although I will say everybody's take on Roxy is also making me really like take another look at Roxy as well. Roxy maybe is really awesome. I have a little Foxy plush that was gifted to me that I cherish, and I'm still waiting for a Foxy FNAF shirt to pop up in some of my favorite fandom shops so that I can rep Foxy as well with my t-shirt collection. But I guess I've always thought of Foxy, I don't know, as my bestie, not necessarily a hottie, just like my BFF for life. Although, you know, pirates can definitely be hot. But what's hotter than a piratical version of Foxy? How about his Ringmaster version from Special Delivery? Honestly, the Special Delivery versions of animatronics don't get enough love on our channel. They're so creative, which is why I'm really happy to include Ringmaster Foxy with his whip hand on this list. What can I say? Whips are kinda great. They're kinda awful, obviously, but also kinda great. Number 1, Mermaid Chica. One of the weird things about Mermaid Chica was that I spotted her in Security Breach and then like was so amazed and stunned by her existence that I forgot that she also existed originally in Help Wanted. That's just how good the art in Security Breach is for her though too. In Security Breach, I think we only see her via art that appears in the world, but I'm still here for the idea of all animatronics possessing their own mermaid or merman or merperson versions, or just, you know, like aquatic versions of them in general. I really like mermaids and aquatic themes, so I'm very much here for this. Mermaid Chica initially appeared, I believe, in Help Wanted, and instead of the classic double shell that most mermaids, such as Ariel, sport, she appears to wear one giant clamshell, I think it's a clamshell, as a top. As cute as Mermaid Chica is, I gotta say, if you think about what she is, it's pretty weird and even like a little bit creepy. Part chicken, part fish. She's kind of like a weird animal hybrid mashup, but an animatronic. Also, if you had like a real Mermaid Chica, how would she walk? Does she levitate? How does that work?